Hey everyone, welcome back to this channel where we've been talking about singleness. And last week we were talking about what you can learn from couples around you. And this week we're talking about healthy relationships. And we're starting with the relationships within the family. Let's get right to it. It's about being intentional about focusing time when we're single on specific relationships. And I can't emphasize this enough because I think this is one of the areas that just gets neglected at times. Relationships are, I believe, one of God's biggest blessings to us, to be in relationship with other people, to know what it is to have community, to belong, to have fellowship, to be a part of something bigger than yourself with other people. I think that's one of the deep needs of our soul, and God gives that to us. And one of the first ways He gives that to us is in the area of family. Family. The first relationship that it's logical to talk about is your relationship with your parents. And this sometimes, especially I guess in teenage years growing up, can be hard because it feels like your parents don't understand you, or it feels like they want to ruin your life, or it feels like they just don't like you very much, or whatever. And sometimes relationship with our parents can be hard, and sometimes for others, relationship with parents are just pretty cool. For others, that relationship is so distant that they're like, well, I don't even have a relationship with them, so what's the point? Why even try? There's a verse in Ephesians 6 which talks about this, actually 3 verses. It says, "Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and your mother, which is the first commandment with a promise, that it may go well with you and that you may live long on the earth." This is Ephesians 6 verses 1-3. And so it just talks about the importance of honoring your parents, your relationship with them being one that you don't just say, okay, well, I don't get along with them, so I'm just not going to work on it, or, well, they're this way and I'm this way, so we're just going to stay in our separate corners. But really honoring them and saying, God, wow, you chose these as my parents. I had nothing to do with it. And if you, in your wisdom, gave me these parents as my parents, then you definitely know what you're doing. And there was a reason for that. Your other relationships, your friends, the ones that you can choose, you have a part to play in that. But if God is the one who chose these people as your parents, then there must be a very good reason for that. And there must be something of the blessing that Paul talks about in Ephesians that we can hold on to. Parents are a blessing, and children are also a blessing to parents. So let's be intentional about our relationship with our parents. And there are many people who really do struggle with their relationship with their parents. As much as they try, they feel like, wow, nothing ever works. But know that this is a relationship that God wants to bless. And so you can go to God and say, God, this is not working out, but I know that you gave me these parents for a purpose. And so seek God for that purpose and let what He had in mind for your relationship with your parents come through. And ask Him to work in your heart and work in their hearts. Number 2 is your siblings, the other members of your family that you do not choose. And I want to emphasize siblings in particular because there was a time where I was looking for a Christian book to read about siblings and the relationship with siblings and building healthy relationships with siblings, and there is not one that I could find. So I think it's a bit of a neglected field in the Christian world. I have a brother and a sister. I am the baby, and I love them. But I had to grow in my love for them, and I still grow in my love for them because there's always something new that we can learn about people. There's always something else that we can cherish in a person, that we can speak out in a person. So there's always room for improving those relationships in our lives. And one of the reasons that I wanted to speak about parents and siblings is that they provide a good base for marriage, in the sense that these are people who you don't have to impress, who you live with on a day-to-day basis, and they know you, they know your ins and outs, etc. And your relationship with them is a bit of a good barometer for what your relationship might start to look like with your future spouse on a day to day. Obviously, there are some big differences, but the truth is that you start a new family with your future spouse. And so that setting that you're working with within your own family is good to see. Okay, well, how do I sort things out with my siblings? Do I just go and sulk? Do I just, barge at them and shout at them until I've gotten what's on my chest off my chest? This is the prime time to learn and to invest in relationships with these people that God has put in your life since birth, and to see those as a blessing, and to ask God, if you gave it to me, then I know it's a blessing. So what did you have in store? What did you have in mind? Am I living in the fullness of family life? Am I seeing it for all it's worth right now? And if not, show me how to see more of it. Show me how to experience the fullness of what you had for family life. And I have no doubt that God will surprise you in your relationships with your siblings and with your parents, because He had a good purpose and plan in mind when He created family. And in the comments below, I would love to hear of one thing that you love about one of your parents, both of your parents, either of your siblings. If you don't have siblings, maybe your extended family. And just to remember what a blessing family is. Shout out to my incredible parents, to my beautiful sister, and my amazing brother and sister in love. I love you guys.